Hi, I'm Luke the catcher, and today we're going to be doing a video of Rawlings versus Wilson at every single position. Before we get into the video, if you enjoy the content, please subscribe and watch the whole video. It would help me out a ton. So I'll go in order of the numbers of the positions, so we'll start off with pitcher. So for pitchers, it doesn't really matter that much because all you got to do is hide the ball. So all pitchers' gloves should have a closed web where it's hard to see the grip. And the brand is really preference, but I would prefer Rawlings because of their pattern options, which is more comfortable patterns, and they have a variety of different closed webs, whereas Wilson, they're kind of limited in the options. You can't choose the web on the customizer. There's limited options in the stock models and in the budget gloves. So for Rawlings, two of the main kind of webs that they have for these pitcher's gloves, you can get a basket web like this. You have the two-piece hinged closed web, traditional two-piece closed web, and this one here is a trapeze web. This one is a little more open, but you can still hide the grip in it. So pitchers, the glove doesn't really matter that much. You can get whatever size feels comfortable to get the grip. And next we'll move on to my position, catcher. So the glove matters a lot for catchers. So I prefer Rawlings by a lot. They have a ton of patterns. I've used their gloves for a long time. And my favorite pattern being the 33-inch CM33. They have so many options. They've got 34-inch, they got the CM41 and the CM43. They have 33-inch CM33, and they have the 32.5-inch JP20, SP13, and there's one other fastback model. I can't think of it right now. But Rawlings is used by a majority of MLB starting catchers. I did a list, and 26 out of the 30 MLB starting catchers use Rawlings. I think they have the best shape by far. All of them have a very solid pocket. You can do whatever style breaking you want. I think Rawlings is the best brand for catcher's mitts. This is my gamer right here, the Rawlings Sandlot Series CM33. My favorite glove is my Pro Preferred CM33. I have that in my room right now. But yeah, so this pattern is amazing. Any type of leather, it will definitely perform. And Rawlings is the best suit for catcher's mitts in my opinion. But I had these Wilson catcher's mitts in the past. This is my gamer in 10 and 11U. This is a Wilson A500 32-inch. The problem is Wilson catcher's mitts have such big padding, such thick pads, it makes the pocket very small and precise, and the ball tends to pop out. There's two catchers in the MLB currently using Wilson, Tyler Stevenson and Connor Wong, and they are both using the brand new A2K M23, which thinned out the padding. So in the past, there's maybe two or three catchers who use Wilson. So this is my A2017-91. It's 32.5 inches. I got it 4 years ago. It also has a very, very small pocket. The padding is very thick. The ball pops out of it a ton, and it's very stiff. But overall, I would definitely recommend Rawlings over Wilson for catcher. Next, we'll move on to
I don't know, I forget.
I can cut that part out. Next, we'll move on to first base. So this is my gamer, the Rawlings Pro FM18. It's a 12.5-inch pattern. This is a Heart of the Hide. It's a custom. This is the same pattern used by Pete Alonso. So I think a majority of MLB first basemen are also using Rawlings, just like catcher, but there is still a few Wilsons and other brands in there. So this is my current gamer, obviously, but I have gamed my teammates Wilson A2000 first baseman in the past. It has felt decent. The web felt like it had a nice pocket. I believe it was a Miguel Cabrera model. But overall, I think first base, it really depends on what you want in the feel of it. Rawlings is going to have bigger feeling gloves with a nice soft pocket. Wilsons are going to feel tighter. They're going to feel stiffer. And it's just going to feel more like you're just catching it right there instead of letting it sink back into the glove. So it's whatever you feel like, whatever you think will feel better for you. Wilsons do tend to have durability problems at first. You see all the time first basemen's gloves breaking. It's Wilson A2000s and A2Ks. Their laces just snap through. I think I would personally go with Rawlings, but it's mostly up to you. And this is a Pro TM pattern. This is a 12-inch first baseman glove. It has two hinges, right there. This one, other one I also broke in with two hinges, but it doesn't have the specific hinges. So Rawlings has a ton of classic first baseman models to choose from. They got closed back, open back. They got 13-inch, 12.5, 12 1/4, and 12-inch. So there's tons of models to choose from Rawlings and from Wilson. So now we're going to move on to middle infield, shortstop, and second. This is all just combined into one. So we'll start off with Rawlings. This is my go-to middle infield pattern. I don't play middle infield at all. I only play catcher and maybe first, like, sometimes. But if I was a middle infielder, I would game these two patterns, the Wilson A2017-86 and the Rawlings Pro 200. So this is the Pro 200 right here. This is an R9 specifically, but obviously all the different types of leather will still apply to this pattern. So it's a very deep, wide pattern. The ball really sinks into the pocket. It has a distinct feel. You can break it in 1 hinge, 2 hinge. You can wear it any way you want. Traditional, it will still have that deep pocket that tends to sink all the way back in there. You're seeing most infielders that use Rawlings will be using the Pro 200 in middle infield. It's a very common pattern. It does the job and it feels nice. The Wilson A2017-86 is arguably the most popular infield pattern to ever exist. It's been around forever. It's 11.5 inches, just like the Pro 200. You can break it in any way you want. You can flare it, you can leave it straight, you can do whatever you want. Traditional, 2 in the pinky. It's overall just going to be comfortable to anybody at pretty much any position in the infield. Third base might be a little small, but middle infield, this is going to feel very comfortable. It's stiff and tight on your hand. You have tons of control over it. The laces are thin, they're Wilson laces, but it won't matter that much. It overall has a nice, easy to feel ground balls with. It feels great, and if I was a second baseman, I would game this. But if I was a shortstop, I would game a Rawlings for that slightly deeper feel, more padded leather. Now we're going to move on to third base. Okay, so we'll start with Rawlings. This is the same gloves I had for the pitcher's glove, but this is also a doable pattern at third base. I used this at third base when I used to play it back in 10U. So this is an 11 3/4, so I think it's a good size for third. This web you can use everywhere. It's a utility web. Rawlings will have a ton of patterns to choose from for third base. If I was a third baseman, I would get a 12-inch heart of the hide with an H web. I think that web is perfect for third base, and that's what I would do if I was third baseman. I use Rawlings because the heart of the hide leather specifically is a soft, pillowy feel. It will sink back into the pocket. You'll have a little bit of feel for it, and it will feel great. So I would use Rawlings at third base, but also Wilsons are doable. This is the Wilson A2000 DP15. My brother is a third baseman. This is his gamer. So 11.5 inch you could use at third. This glove is broken in to have a deep 2-hinge pocket. The web stretches out, the fingers stretch out. It's 2 in the pinky, so this one will be gameable at third. But Wilson has some other patterns like the 1787, which is a great glove for third base. So if I was a third baseman, I would game the Wilson 1787 or the Rawlings heart of the hide, H-web, whatever pattern feels the best. I just got to try the different ones on, but probably the Pro 200. So I have a little bit of a problem when it comes to the outfield. I do not own a single outfield glove, but this is close enough. This is an 11.5-inch youth glove, but it could be used in the outfield at a youth level. But if I was an outfielder, I would definitely go with a Rawlings H-web. It's like the perfect glove for the outfield. The heart of the hide leather specifically, it'll create the best pocket. It won't be too deep or too shallow. It'll feel great. Always wear an outfield glove 2 in the pinky, in my opinion. Just gives the perfect deep pocket. So you could use a Wilson. The 1799 is a good model, but like the durability and everything in Wilson isn't as good as Rawlings. So if I was an outfielder, I would definitely go with the Rawlings with the H-web. You could do some other webs like the trapeze, modified trapeze. It's up to you. That was Rawlings versus Wilson at every position. Let me know what you game in the comments, and thanks for watching.